Hi everyone, this is Ida. I have a quick project share that I wanted to share with you. I've been working on some, excuse me, I've been working with my Santa baby paper because I did want to do Christmas in July projects. And I had ordered this die set that I bought for a bunch of my ladies here on YouTube. And I was playing with this particular die and I really like it because of the card that it makes. This one right there in the corner. And I did make one, but it's okay. But it can be better. What I like about this die, let me show you the back. These two dies right here, you can use these two dies to make a shaker card. So after I had already made my card, I thought, why didn't I make it into a shaker? And I didn't, but I'm going to, my next one that I make, I'm going to turn it into a shaker. But I'm going to tell you what I created with this die. And I don't know if this is still available. I think I paid like $2.50 for this one, but I'm going to show you the card that I made with that. This is the card that I made with that one. And what I did wrong, the reason I don't like this card, is instead of putting a full square of foam underneath, or make sure I had plenty of strips underneath, I just put like a couple of strips going across like this. So when I added the sparkle glitter, like stickles to the center, the paper got wet and it kind of dipped in right here. So I put something in there to kind of lift it back up, and it left like a crease right there, and I don't like the way it looks. And right here it even warped some because I put glossy accents on the little coffee cup. It would have made a pretty card except for that, so I'm just going to keep it as my sample, but I still wanted to share it with you guys. Here are those two frames, and you can see that you have enough space in between to turn it into a shaker, and it will work amazing. I mean, it's perfect. And I'm going to show you the frame that I made. I actually created this frame with these two dies. And the next card that I make, and I'm waiting on some foam and stuff, so I'm not doing it right now. This would, see how nice that is up there? If I had turned this into a shaker card. But the fact that I didn't, um, it was okay because anyway, it was ruined. And I would have hated to, the shaker take a little bit of work, and I would have hated to ruin that. Anyway, I had a die that has little mittens, and they're not together, they're separated, but I kind of just glued them together, and I added a little bow right here. And this is the bling from the Santa Baby collection, and this is a mint green pull ribbon that I have, and when you pull it, it makes a bow. So that's what I did here. I made a bow here, and the loops are about this big. You can't make them any smaller. You can make several loops, more than one, but not smaller than that. So I added this bling to the center. And over here, this is one a little ornament from the ephemera. And this is actually a journaling card, you guys. That's why I like buying the journaling cards as well as the 6x6 and the 8x8s in different sizes, because they work for different projects depending on what you're doing. With this one, I didn't have to cut a whole sheet of paper. All I did was took out one of those little journaling cards, and that's what I cut, and it fit perfectly, and I still had some left over. And in the back here, in between, I had a mint green, because the color in this, the green that is in here, is a real true mint green. And I don't have any. I only had a couple scraps, and this is what I put here. Now, this snowy effect right here, what I used to do that is this, the Snow Rider. And I purchased this, I think, at Hobby Lobby. And that's what I used for the snow on the mittens and on the edges of the frame, on the ornament. Now, don't throw away your scraps, you guys, when you cut out something. For example, this scrap that I have here, I don't throw anything away, but I'm going to tell you what I did do. With the little pieces, I have the Martha Stewart, the pine needle punch, and I use this one to punch out these little pine needles, pine branches that are right in here. and they look real pretty. And because this is pinks and real shabby, all light colors, I didn't want to do it in like a brown or, you know, like a wood color, because I wanted it to continue to be shabby. Now, I could have done it in a copper or silver, and it still would have looked pretty, but I like it in this pale pink, and then I added some of the Snow Rider on there. This is a poinsettia that I made out of the Fomarian foam. It's a very thin foam that you use to make flowers. And I should have put more layers, and I didn't. So, you know, it's trial and error. This was the first poinsettia I made, and I put in only 3 layers. And what I should have done is I should have put 2 of each size. But it still looks nice, but it is very soft. So when you put more layers, it's better because it has more body. And I didn't twist it, and I should have. You know, there's other things that I could have done to it, and I didn't do to it. So when I get my foam in, that's when I'm going to create the other one and hopefully play with the poinsettia a little bit more. Now, on the edge, I put, this color seems to have like a raspberry color in it. So I had this Distress Glitter by Tim Holtz, and it's like a chunky glitter. This one's called, Picked Raspberry. Yep, Picked Raspberry. And that's what I use right here on the tips of the poinsettia. And I also use some diamond glaze. I mean some diamond dust, which is that glass glitter. I did use just a little touch of it, not too much. And then this poinsettia right here is a poinsettia that comes with that's from the Santa Baby paper line. And this is one of the flowers that coordinates with it. And right here, I didn't take out my embossing folder. I was just talking to one of my friends about this. Let me see if I can find it real quick for you guys. Because I was playing with it, and I think here it is. This is a 3D, this snowflake embossing folder, and this is what it looks like, you guys. And it's very, very thick. Like, this is really thick. I'll show it to you. See how thick that is? It's very thick because it is a 3D embossing folder. But I love the effect that this embossing folder does on paper. And what I do when I emboss, I kind of spritz lightly my paper, and then I put it in between the embossing folder, and then I emboss it. That way I get the best results from it. So that's what I used right here to do these 3D embossing on the card. And this little green, mint green bling is also from the Gems paper line. And right here there's some snow. You know, I didn't do too much to it, but it is super cute. And right here, the backing is the coffee mugs and all that, also in the paper line, Santa Baby paper line. And this is actually an easel card, so you would be able to sit it like that. And this piece, again, I cut this piece out of the frame, and I just split the frame in half, and I embossed it again with the snowflake, the 3D snowflake. But I was going to edge this in a little bit of green, and the color that I bought, it said that it was mint, ended up being more like an aqua. So that's another thing that I didn't like. But all in all, it ended up a pretty nice card. And this is what, this type of card is what this one makes. So you would have the piece this piece right here that flips up. This piece that flips up, and it's really nice. I really like the best $2.50 I ever spent. So that's awesome. I really like it, and I'm going to continue to play with that. So that's one of the cards that I created with the Santa Baby. And you know, I wanted to put something up for July 1st, and I wasn't able to with church and babysitting and all that, but you know, it is what it is. Another thing that I created, you guys, is I ordered the tote, the timeless tote from Our Daily Bread, and And again, I used it with the Santa Baby paper, and I'll show you what that looks like. This one is the layering one, and it says Timeless Tote Layering. So that's all I got. I only got the 2 pieces. I didn't get the complete set. I just got the main ones. And then I got this one, which is the Timeless Tote. Let me show you right here. See, Timeless Tote. And it comes with all these dies. Let me turn it around so I can show it to you. It comes with all the dies that you need to make the tote bag. So this is what I created. Look at this little tote, you guys. I think I'm gonna have to pick you up a little bit. This is the bag that I created. How cute is it, you guys? It is so pretty. Here's the Santa Baby paper again. Now these straps are made to go in the front of the back of the bag. Let me show you. This is what they're supposed to look like. This is the back. And the reason that I did it different, because I purposely did it because I wanted the Santa to show. And if I put the strap in the front, it would be right on Santa's face. And I didn't want to do that. So anyway, this is a beautiful tote bag, you guys. But it looks really big on when people record or do videos. But it's actually pretty small. Here's my hand, you guys. And it covers the whole bag, just about. So that gives you an idea of how big it is. Right here, this little tassel does come with the tote dies. And all I did was I made it in the copper color, because I accented the bag with the copper. See, the mesh pocket is in copper, and then the little flap is in the copper, and the little buckle in this little piece right here, that's all in the copper. So I decided to make the tassel as well in the copper. And I have the Tim Holtz tattered poinsettia die, and I knew I wanted to put a poinsettia on here, or some type of flower. And I originally had one that came with the paper line. But because of all the copper that I was using, it didn't quite go that well with it. So I cut this out with my Tim Holtz tattered poinsettia die. And mine came with the embossing folder. If it doesn't come with it, there is a coordinating embossing folder for it. And then here in the center, I added some sequins that, it's a sequence mix that Nisha White, who is Inspiring Beautiful Creations, she gifted us that sequence mix in this box. She did an amazing job mixing that. And that's what I put right here in the center of the poinsettia. And it ended up really cute, you guys. Now, my understanding of this is that if you want to put a gift card in here, you have to, this flap, you have to move it up more. So it can't be all the way in the way I did it. But this does actually open up, you guys. And I did the gussets on it so you would be able to open it up a little bit. There's the inside. But see, you can see where this flap kind of ends right there. If you want to put a gift card in here, you're going to have to move that flap higher up, because the gift card will fit in here, but you won't be able to close it. See, I wouldn't be able to close that because it's taller than the pocket. So you do have to make sure that you don't put the top flap all the way in the way I did on mine. But it works. So there's like a little extra wallet. And I put Velcro on mine to keep it closed. But I think this little tab right here where you put the little buckle in, or belt, will keep it closed. And it was real easy to put together, you guys. It comes, like I said, with the main die, which is the green. And I wanted to do it in the mint green because of the Santa Baby having mint green. But this was the closest that I had in a bigger piece of paper to the mint green, which is more like a teal. But the mint green would have looked better. Even a gold, even a pink would have looked nice. But all in all, I love the way that it ended up. But like I said, and then it doesn't come with a layering piece on the bottom, but it really doesn't need it. But like I said, it's the size of my hand. So that way it gives you a better idea of how big this really is. Now, I was trying to make little embellishments to go inside the box. And I'll show you what I created. Let me move this over here. I created these little hot cocoa mugs, or they can be, I call it choffee. I always tease my grandkids that they're drinking choffee when I mix coffee and chocolate together, and I'll say, do you want some choffee? And they get a kick out of it, and they ask me why. I said, well, it's chocolate and coffee. So I call it choffee. And I've said that for them for years since they were really small, so that it kind of stuck with them. But this is what I was creating, and I used several dyes to create this. Let me bring you down a little bit more so you get a really good idea. Oops, sorry you guys. Of what they look like. Now to make these little cups, I used the one of the sheets and the 6x6 paper pad because it had several images on it that I wanted on the cup, like the Santa and the little bird, the poinsettia, the wreath. So I was able to just kind of move my die around and line it up on those images and cut out my cups. Now I probably could have still cut more if I had just, lined it up and not worried about where it was cutting, but I was picking and choosing where I wanted it to cut. So this is one of the cups that I made, you guys. And with the Santa right here, and it says Jolly. And this little poinsettia right here, and this little holly, I'm going to show you what dye that is. All these are different dyes. The sticks right here, the cinnamon sticks, and I cut the poinsettia and these in the copper. This is one dye, the cinnamon sticks. The holly and the poinsettia are another dye. The coffee cup is another dye, and the whipped topping is another dye. And this just goes to show you that you can mix and match your dyes. And then right here is again the little pine needles from the Martha Stewart punch, and I added the little glitter paint, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. And I bought it at Joann's years ago, so I don't know if they still carry it. But it's this one, you guys. And I've had it for years. See the color? It's iridescent white. It's so pretty. And there, it's called Opal. There's the name right there, you guys. And the barcode. I don't know if you can find it. It's called Opal. And that's what I use to add the sparkle on the little pine needles and on the whipped topping. If you can see that there, I'll move it back and forth so you can kind of get an idea. And for the little like little sprinkles on top, like peppermint sprinkles, I use little teeny tiny, I think these are 15O seed beads in like a raspberry color. And I'll show you what they look like. And I believe I purchased these at Michael's. I have had them a long time, but this is what the tube looks like. But these are the real tiny ones. That, like I said, they're like 15 O's is the size on those. And the dyes that I use to make these, I use this Sizzix dye that I purchased at Michael's. Here's the cup that I used for these. But it's actually a fall one. It's really pretty, you guys. And so I use that one. I always, like I said, anything that I see that has coffee cups, I buy it. I use this Spellbinders dye. This is a big set. But the only thing that I used out of here was this little flourish with the hollies and the poinsettia leaves. And I did run it through my machine one time to cut it, and then I put my embossing mat over it so I could get those little details. If you can see, look at the details on the little leaves, because I did emboss it. And even if you don't run it with an embossing folder, it will still emboss some, but not as well as, it wouldn't look as nice as when you use the embossing folder. And this is just 4 little separate poinsettias, and I cut all these out for my 4 little cups, and I put one on each. And again, the little pearl centers that the little poinsettias have right there, those came from the box also that Miss Nisha made, and they're teeny tiny pearls. So that's what I used on there. And the whipped topping on the cinnamon sticks. The cinnamon sticks came from this die set, you guys. Let me move you up some. I'm sorry. This came from this Karen Berniston coffee charm kit. And here's the cinnamon sticks right there. And I'll show you the back. It comes with all these pieces. And these are really tiny. Look, guys, there's my finger. These are really, really tiny. And here, right here is the cinnamon stick die that I used. And I cut it out of copper cardstock. And I'll show you the cardstock. Let me show that to you right now before. Actually, no. Let me show you one more die and then we'll go to the cardstock that I used for that. This is the die, you guys, that I used to cut the whip topping. It's by Dynamics. And I don't know what it is called. It doesn't have a number or anything, you guys. But this is what it looks like. And I bought it on Amazon. I can tell you that much. And this whip topping fits that cup perfectly. Now, there's others out there that fit. If you have one, look through your stash. You might have one that does work with that, with the coffee cup. Or you can even cut one out with whether you have a Cricut, a Silhouette, or whatever you own. You'll be able to cut it out. But me personally, what I liked about that die, that it does have the swirls, the embossing, like whip topping. So that's what I liked about that. I want to share with you the paper that I use to for my copper foiling. And what I like about this paper, and this is the paper that I use, you guys. And I bought this one at Joann's, but I recently purchased them from my friend Carolyn, who's Tea Time and Dolls here on YouTube. I found it on Amazon, but it was quite a bit pricier than what I paid for it at Joann's. But it's well worth it, you guys, because you get a variety of metallic foil sheets, and then in the back it's the polka dot patterns. I hardly ever use it on the back. I bought it specifically for the foiling in the front. And this is a 6x6 paper pad, and that's what I used here. And it did have the rose gold, and it had the copper, it had the silver, the pearl, the gold, but this is the copper one that I used on this, because this paper seems to have like an old, like a little vintage, not really vintage look, but a little bit, that I felt that the gold copper was a good match for it, and also a rose gold would be a good match for it. Now, I was talking to my friend Nisha, and I wanted to show you, this might have a lot of glare, but I wanted to show you with my stuff in it. These embossing, these pockets are by Anna Griffin, I believe. And I bought these on HSN, you guys. And this is what I use to store my 6x6 pads after I've already cut into them, because I can leave, it's a pocket. And it's got gussets, so it will expand. And when I start cutting into my paper pad, I just kind of place it in the back of my paper, and then I keep all these little bits and pieces, because let me tell you, this little corner right here, if I wanted to cut out the cinnamon stick, I will cut it out of that corner without having to tear into a new sheet. But everything's contained in this pocket. So this is what I use for storage for all my 6x6 paper pads, especially when I start cutting into them. I try to have a pocket for all of them, because eventually I will cut into them, but I don't. But when I go to use one, I'll take one out of a pocket that hasn't been cut, and the one I'm cutting, I'll put it into the pocket, because I can store everything back together with the same paper pad that it goes with. So that's just a little tip on storage that I wanted to share with you guys. And let me see, I think that's all that I wanted to share. And this of course is my first video for Christmas in July. I did record the swap for the embellishment boxes group 1, and I'm hoping to get that uploaded today at some point. But group 1, it was already here, so I recorded the whole thing, and I'm still waiting for some in group 2. So that will not be done until whenever everything comes in. And thanks for watching, you guys. I hope that this helped you. I hope that you like these embellishments and that you try them. And like I said, try that storage tip on your 6x6 paper pads, because you will really like that. Like, it's so convenient. I wish that they made them for the 12 by 12s. I would try and have a pocket for each of my 12 by 12 papers, and then I could just slide my scraps right into the pocket. But, you know, someone will come up with it. Thanks for watching, you guys. Everyone have a great day, and God bless. Bye.